Hi, I'm John Fitzgerald and welcome to Custodian TV. Well, we've just finished our last round of summits for 2009 and wow, what a series of events. Record numbers at every single event in every single state, and I've got to say I'm just always surprised and amazed at the amount of people who've been in the program for 10 years or more, still coming along to events, still buying properties, and also the new people coming along and how well everyone gets on together. Everybody says to me, John, the takeaway from the summits is, yes, we love the economic data from Biz Shrapnel and the demographics from Matusik. We love the health checkup from the various health speakers. We also like hearing about the big picture on property and tax and various things. But we also love hearing from other custodians and their story. And when I say hearing from other custodians, the intermingling. And really, I think that's what a lot of people get out of Custodian, is mingling with like-minded people who are building a portfolio. Because when you think about it, and here are the numbers, less than 10% of Australians will buy an investment property. And of that 10%, 85% of those people will only ever buy one. It's a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of 1% of actual Australians that will build a property portfolio. That is 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 or more properties. And we have literally hundreds of clients now with multiple properties. We're a very elite group. And I'm really proud to say that, really proud to be part of that group as well. Round of summits are over. Global financial crisis is over, and now everyone's talking about interest rates. What's going to happen with interest rates? Well, obviously they're going to go up. They've started to go up. The Reserve Bank 2 weeks ago put interest rates up 0.25% and signalled that we have emergency rates, as I've discussed before, and we can't keep these emergency rates. Interest rates need to be between 6 and 8%. Today they're still 5 point something percent, the borrowing rate that is. So what you'll see is it trend up over the next 6 to 12 months. What does it mean for us? First and foremost, your borrowing capacity is going to change. And really, when I look at interest rates, yes, it affects our cash flow, but our cash flow is always improving because we get increasing rents. The main thing interest rates affect is our borrowing capacity, and I would significantly point out to you, if you're looking to duplicate, do it as soon as you can whilst interest rates are lower, because you will have a higher borrowing capacity. Your borrowing capacity will be calculated on interest rates as they are today, plus the margin, rather than what they will be in 12 months' time. Where they'll be, no one knows. But what I was very interested in as well was that whilst the short-term rate moved, the long-term rates didn't move. So where we saw that crossover sometime early this year, where long-term rates started to go up, we're now finding that the short-term rate's going up, but long-term rates are holding steadfast. The 3-year long-term rate with the major banks, 6.3, 6.4, 5-year rate around 7, and even the 10-year rate is late 7% if you want to lock in for that period of time. Don't think we need to do that, but the 3-year rate could become attractive in a couple of years' time, no doubt about that. The global financial crisis, what's been the upshot of it all? For us as custodians, the upshot really hasn't been measured. We've had the stimulus package from the government, which has kicked in for the first home buyers and created a ceiling there, a floor, I should say, that's lifted that first home buyer market in most of the states. But even now, there's not enough product coming on, so we still have a shortage of supply. But the big difference has been in finance and banks. We're now with, in Australia, 2 super banks, Westpac and Commonwealth. They do, between them, well over 80% of all Australian residential mortgages. Now that's significant. Westpac buying St George, Commonwealth buying Aussie Home Loans really means they are the super banks. ANZ and National Australia Bank really get a much smaller portion of the market, but are looking to gear itself up. And then we were dealing with various second, third tier lenders beyond that, and a lot of them have run out of money. The other big news behind the scenes is that a few years ago we had 4 mortgage insurers, and today we only have 2. And in a sense, really only one that's active. And that's making some changes in the market because now the mortgage insurers and the banks are moving to the VALX system. So it means valuations are going to potentially get tighter. How does that happen? Well, there's two ways evaluation's done, and I wrote this in 7 Steps to Wealth that affect us. One is it's done for mortgage security purposes, and two is it's done at market value. We've always tried to use banks who value at market value and disclose that valuation to the customer. The banks don't want to do that. And the mortgage insurers even less want to do that. And today the mortgage insurers are in control and they've brought in a new system called VALX. VALX is a computer generated ordering system for valuations that will use up to 6 different valuers and you'll get 6 different valuations. Generally what we do and have been doing for the last 10 plus years, if we're going to release an estate, we'll do strategic assessment valuations. That is, we go to the valuers on the various bank panels and get them to do a valuation. We might go to 3 or 4. The 2 that concur with the numbers, we'll use those because we know they're going to be consistent. The others could vary by 5, maybe even 10% at times. We use the ones that concur, and then when the property is sold, we ask the bank to refer back to that valuer. We give that valuer the most recent local comparable sales, so they're up to date. The opposite of that is valuers who use the Valuer General's department, which VALX are going to use, and that data could be sometimes 4 to 9 months old. So we're seeing sales now in October, and they're using Valuer General's details that go back to May, March, April, June, perhaps, and we're insisting that they try and use September sales. It affects you obviously when you buy, but most importantly, it affects you when you want to refinance, and that's the most important thing. Change. They say the only constant is change, and sure, there's been enough of that, but I see the tide changing again sometime next year because yes, we're left with 1, maybe 2 mortgage insurers. Yes, we're left with a fewer banks, but I also see more products coming into the market, more finance products coming into the market, and I'd say we'll be in a very different landscape this time next year. As usual, we've got your interest at our heart because your interest and my interest, we're all investing together. Thank you for listening to me.